There will be assets which will be extremely limited, like pianos, Stradivarius. We just see a change in mindset and in behavior of rich people and people who are on the way to get rich. Hello, my name is Abele. I'm the founder of Tent, which is a new company allowing you to invest into luxury assets and at the same time enjoying them through co-ownership. So why blockchain? Yeah, a good question. It's both. It's exploring possibilities, but on the other side, it makes sense to our business. The reason is that most of the assets we have, have been opaque in history. So you didn't know the art piece, where it was, how often it was, for example, exhibited. Going it to record it on a public chain makes it very transparent suddenly. So that makes sense for the assets we're dealing with because they have not a history of being transparent. And also in our model, because we are just a platform, if you record it decentrally, if the platform would not exist anymore, still the ownership would be recorded and people can access these valuable assets and don't need to fear whether Tent as a platform continues to exist. So you have no counterparty risk, which is also kind of good for startups as well. So there are a number of reasons why to explore it. So we build it on several technologies. We use a lot of artificial intelligence to personalize the experience, but also we use the blockchain as a ledger. Currently we use the Ethereum blockchain as our solution, but going forward we may develop our own blockchain where we integrate it with all our partners and make it a unique proposition. Still you record it anonymous in the chain, right? So you have your code and not your name listed there. So what we do is we have segregated the KYC and the personal privacy data that's centrally stored with us, and only references will be available in the public chain. So people will maybe know that you own 3 tokens which are worth $500,000 or $1 million, but they cannot identify it's you. So basically you have that segregation, like it's today with the wallets as well, right? So there is, in my opinion, sufficient privacy as you have with cryptocurrencies. So this is more about attitude, I guess, than the technology and the system. So we just see a change in mindset and in behavior of rich people and people who are on the way to get rich, that the sharing economy will become more common and mainstream. And you will, well, even rich people, they go in an Uber to drive from one to the other place, right? Sometimes they're not using their car. So I think it's depending on the use case. Maybe on the yacht, they want to be seen themselves, but for a vineyard, they can happily share it with other ones. So I'm not proposing that everything has to be shared, but there will be elements where people feel comfortable of, sharing and showing it together, and others not. And that's the freedom. That's why we have a wide range of possibilities. For some, sharing art is good, for others not. Sharing a car, some people know it's mine, they want to drive it alone. Some people say, no, it's too much hassle. I'm happy to have it just part-time. Quite interesting because that was also new to me. I realized that in my old job when I was working for a very big bank, dealing with very wealthy people who had access to it, and understanding that these returns have been really good over decades. And also more stable and not so volatile like stock markets, for example. So we talk about wine having a performance of between, on the low end, 6% per year to 18 to 20% on the top end, consistently over 10-15 years. We just released a report about whiskey. We had a great performance last year, which overshoot everything with 40% in 1 year. But that's an exception. But in the long run, it's still between 5 to 10% return over a decade. Classic cars have been outperforming all other classes in the last decade by giving a return about 400% nearly in 10 years. So we talk about assets which have a very nice track record on the long run. They are not short-term trading possibilities, but they are investments which, well, you enjoy, and after some time you actually, because they're unique and they're limited in supply, obviously have a lot of increased demand because more people get wealthy and the more they want it. So it's a nice case for investment too. So it's both sides. So we want to source assets that our customers want. So sometimes we get like 4 people and said, we would love to jointly own that. Can you make it happen? Because what we do is provide all the operational framework to actually execute that. So they don't need to worry about legal stuff, about insurances. That's what we're doing. So sometimes assets come on the platform from the clear demand of customers. The other is that a lot of the partners we have, luxury brands, they say, hey, we have a very, very unique object. We believe this is fitting to be put on tent. Let's do that. So for example, now soon we will have one of 8 pianos that Steinway will make in the world on our platform. And that's things that they come to us and believe it would be nice to actually give it a few people as a co-ownership. There's clearly we're not a retail offering. We are in the pyramid on the upper end. So we talk about potentially 30 to 80 million people in the entire world being able in our target group. And of course, we will serve only a fraction in that group. There will be assets which will be extremely limited, like pianos, Stradivarius, like race horses. On the other side, there are asset classes which are quite scalable, like art. There's quite a lot of art in the world that actually could fit the platform. Real estate, luxury real estate is huge, so there we can scale much bigger. So we have actually things which are pretty unique and very few can only have. They are more iconic items, and there will be asset classes which are more scalable. Classic cars is so in the middle. There are quite a number of classic cars, but not unlimited, obviously. So it depends, but our business is not to scale into the 100 millions like Uber or the other ones. It's still a small network of like-minded people enjoying similar interests, and we are sufficient if we get around 10,000 customers. That already makes it a great, fantastic franchise. Well, we do have watches, and I feel watches are not working very well. There will be collectible watches, very special ones, which will work, unique items. But to rotate the watches between co-owners is operationally a challenge, and hence we stop that offering to be on the lower end, let's say, of that range, because that's not where I believe the potential of value increase is there from investment point, and operationally it's challenging, so we drop that. Same for some jewelries. To be fair, that's not working as good. So yeah, we will drop. Actually, we experiment and learn, and we have the courage to take out things from the platform which are not working. So no, we are B2C, so we want to give value to customers and enjoyment. A pure diamond typically is not what people look at, it's in the jewelry or whatever, right? The companies who tokenize this type of assets, they are typically do it for the industry. So they make sure that the chain of production until it comes to the retailer is documented properly. So it's a very different proposition, and their existence has some valid points, clearly, but it's not working for me because I'm trying to create some experiences for the end customers which such assets don't give. I'm 100% sure that in Asia we will find assets which we don't believe in Europe. For example, they could be important. For example, it could be sneakers, collecting sneakers, right? Or sneakers, yeah, because this is something in the culture here that you can observe that people, wearing sneakers since years and they collected it. It could be something that we want to onboard, right? Because of the cultural preferences. So I'm very curious to learn this, different things. For example, it could be in Mexico that we have a tequila farm onboarded that is co-owned by some people, because people like, helping the tequila industry to make very good products. So it could be things that pop up over the journey, and certainly will, that we will onboard. And hopefully we get very creative by our customers and users. So.
I hope so.